Welcome to the Coaching Life Podcast. Hello, everyone.
That's a new sound for us.
Yeah,
I like
sounds
that.
good. Season 9 sounding. Sounds
maybe
like
a little preview
Yeah.
of season 9. Put some new intro music to it.
It's good stuff.
I like it.
And then it just kind of
Just let it ease away.
It's pretty
That's
cool.
right.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I like that, Coach.
Cool.
So here we are again.
Welcome back to the studio.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hello, everyone. Good to see all of you. Except I can't.
You're gonna
see
have
you
to get
see
used
me.
to just continuing to talk while there's a camera on you.
I don't know if I can.
Yeah. It's a little different in here.
Yeah, and this, I'm convinced that this camera, this angle, makes me look fat.
Is it the camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's something with, I think it's crooked or something.
Yeah,
I
you
know
don't
what it is.
It has to be the camera. You look great.
Right.
So, good deal. You know that our listenership, our viewership,
Yep.
which is twofold. Now it's both of those things, right? Our demographic got younger this week.
Do you know how much it shifted?
Not much. Probably 7 people. That's
From
pretty good.
7 people from what age group?
Under 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In fact, I was at our baseball team does the junior high basketball concessions, and we had our first game this week. And I was working concessions, and so some of the players had come in and purchased some items, some things that they would, some to quench their thirst, and some sweet candies and things like that. Some
Because there's
popcorn.
not a water fountain in that place anywhere.
Well, sure there is.
Huh?
Water fountain in the gym or in the?
Yeah.
Are you just making fun? You're saying they got to buy it? They've got to buy their water.
The water fountain in the locker room was broke. When we
Oh,
went
was
to
it? Okay. Yeah. I don't think I've ever been in the junior high locker room.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, but I had a young man come up to me and said that he listens to the podcast, and not all of our podcasts, but he in fact watched the podcast last week. And I said,
Yes.
"Did you watch the whole thing?" And he actually told me a story. He told me a story that he related a story to me that I told toward the end of the podcast. I'm like, that's pretty deep into it. He goes, "Oh yeah, I watched the whole thing."
Huh. I probably can't even do that.
I wouldn't do that. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Like, this video is not for you and me. I don't watch podcasts. I mean, because you've got to devote however much time the podcast is.
Yeah. Yeah, I like listening to like traveling, driving.
Same.
I know a lot of our listeners
Multitasking.
do that. Yeah. And then
Which you could, of course, still do. I mean, Spotify will play.
Oh, sure.
I mean, there's the RSS feed is still there for the audio. I mean, in fact, if you use Apple, you didn't even know we did video because the video doesn't go to Apple.
Yeah.
But we did start a YouTube channel. Did you know that?
I think I saw a link that there's a YouTube channel.
Well,
now,
because we've always
had
had a Gmail email account, and so I just linked our Gmail account to a YouTube channel, and we put the podcast on there.
Okay.
And the more we put our podcasts on YouTube is now they have a podcast section on their platform, and they're even dabbling into starting their own RSS feed, becoming a podcast host, because video podcasting is becoming so big, popular with the younger folk, especially.
Yeah, sure.
So
it's a good deal. It's
so
fun.
not only are we going to add video, but we're also going to kind of update our music, make it a little. Yeah.
I thought we were ending the show with this.
Oh, well, our time is up. So no. Good stuff. Actually, Pat, the coach, the same young man, his name is Gavin Heisel. He told me a good idea for a podcast topic. In fact, while I was talking to him is when you texted me and asked if we could bump our day of recording. And then the next question, of course,
was
smooth
of you to put the blame on me.
What are we going? Well, the shoe fit.
You always wait. Like if you got something that's going to take over, like if it's a good day for you not to record, you always wait because you think there's a good chance that I'm going to try to push it. So now it's like always my fault. So you never reach out and like, hey, let's change it.
You figured out my secret.
So what Gavin said?
So
what?
I actually the next question that you and I asked each other was, what are we going to talk about? What's our
that's
conversation
what we
this week?
always say.
Because it's just an ongoing conversation is what the Coaching Life podcast is. And so I just asked him, I said, hey, you're a listener. What do you want us? What would you like to hear us talk about? And he just he didn't think that long. He's a cerebral kid. He's a smart kid.
Yeah.
He reads a lot. And he looked at me and he said, how about baseball, thinking about baseball outside of playing baseball?
Yep.
And I had to go, elaborate a little bit. So I said, are you, let me make sure that I'm on the same page as you here. Are you saying, how have experiences that people have had in baseball actually impacted their normal life, like their regular life? Or what are some things that you have learned while playing the game of baseball that you used in the discipline of your normal everyday life? And he said, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So I said, I told you the idea, and you're like, let's run with that.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
When my senior year, I was talking to my coach after the season was over, mm-hmm. and I was apologizing to him for the season that I had and the season that we had as a team. And I think I had high hopes that didn't come to fruition. But he said, don't worry about the way you played. It's no big deal. And he said that the experience that you had will help you mm-hmm. deal with the doldrums of life.
Nice.
And when he said that, I thought, what the heck is he talking about? Because
I was look that word up.
Well, yeah, I could have put it in context, but I'm like, what do you mean it's going to help? This is ridiculous. I had a bad year,
right? You weren't thinking about that then.
It's very, that's one of the reasons that you should encourage your kids to be a part of a team, to play youth sports, is for that very reason, for the lessons that you take from your experience playing and how that can impact
absolutely
the way that you live. I mean, it's a golden opportunity.
Yeah, and those lessons come in a variety of ways. I mean, they sometimes come while you're playing the game, but they sometimes come just by being part of the team. I mean, they often come just by being part of the team, and experiencing, the social growth that that you have when you're interacting with people, you're working together, and there are so many ways that it changes your life.
Oh yeah,
so
sure. And it prepares you.
Yeah, I read
in that way,
right?
Because you're prepared. So that's a way it changes right off the top. So
yeah,
what were you going to say? You read?
Well, I read a story one time about somebody asked. It may have been like in a book, like a nonfiction or a fictionalized story mm-hmm. that was centered around baseball. Mike Lupica has written a few of those, and I remember when Brock was a kid, some of the books that we got for him to do book reports on as a elementary school student were those, and it might have been one of those stories. But the question was, can a sport, in this case it was baseball, can it change your life? Like, can it change a person's life? And I remember that the point was specific in this. It said, yeah, it can and has changed many people's lives. And here's one way that the game of baseball specifically can change your life. And that is this: it will teach you to never, ever give up.
Absolutely.
Because there's always a chance. And I will say that this is also a very unique thing to the sport of baseball as compared to any other sport out there. And that is this: it is never impossible, right? No matter how much you're down
till the final out,
you still have the opportunity. Like, there's not a clock. There is even though there is a clock in Major League Baseball now and in college baseball, that clock is a pitch clock. It's not a game clock,
right?
And so there is still time until you get all 27 outs in a pro game, all 21 outs in a high school game, or little league, whatever you're playing. Until you get that last out, if you could be down 50 runs, and the possibility is still there. Yeah. Whereas if you have 1 minute left and you're down 50 points as a Browns fan,
I've been there. I don't know if I've been down 50.
You cannot say legitimately this is possible.
Right.
You know it's impossible,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's one of the cool lessons, I think, of the game of baseball is there are going to be moments in your life where something feels impossible. This situation that I'm in feels impossible. It seems impossible. And for a person who has played baseball and has perhaps, and is it always happening? Like, are you always coming back and winning? No, but you always have a chance. You always, and you know, we all have those stories where you were down 6 runs in the 7th inning and you came down to your last out and you're still down by 3 or 4 runs, and something happens. You strike fire and magic happens and you win. I just 2 years ago, I had an incredible story. Eastern, coaching at Eastern, playing against Waterford, bottom of the 7th, we're at home down by 4 runs and it did not look likely. I think it was our 6, 7, 8, and 9 batters were coming up in that inning. And it was, you know, it was incredible. I mean, That's
a big hole.
It was, we were bases loaded. We were still down by 3 runs. And, guy that came up to bat, you know, Bryce Newland, hadn't played baseball 4 years in his high school career. Just freak heck of an athlete though.
Yep.
So he fought like crazy in that at bat. Foul ball, 2 strikes, like all he's got to do is throw one more strike and we're out of the game is over. Right. He hits a ground ball that doesn't even hardly make it out of the infield. It went barely into right field and he beat it out. And all of a sudden, Waterford's throwing the ball around and I'm just waving them on. And we're like, you know what? If they're going to win this game, it's going to have to be a play at the plate. And sure enough, it was a play at the plate, throw is high, kid slides underneath it. We win the ball game, walk it off just like that.
And that's something.
And it seemed impossible.
Yeah. And in that story you just gave, there was like 6 more lessons that you could take.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, just standing at the plate, you know, to competing right there, no matter what the situation was, what the count was, you know, get behind in the count, get ahead of the count.
Yeah.
Finish the at bat, compete. You get in, you know, you find situations like that in your life where you're in a situation where you have to fight through it, right? You have to go,
right.
And what you're saying is basically there's always a chance in life as long as you have it.
Always a chance.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah. That's one of the lessons, right?
Sure.
One of the real life lessons that you will learn playing baseball. That's the way. That's one way that you think baseball outside of playing baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. How about all of our examples are going to be baseball related?
You know what?
That's the way
it's
think.
Our podcast. All right.
You know, we could probably shift this. Maybe I can, but you know, I'm thinking when you're pitching. So let's say this, in Waterford situation there,
mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if they changed pitchers in that inning or not.
They did. They did. Yeah. As we were mounting a little bit of a comeback, they did change pitchers.
Yeah, they did. But so from a defense perspective, though, they're out there. They have to get 3 outs. It's on them.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's coming to save them. When those bases,
no clock is going to stop the game.
Yeah, true, right?
No,
yeah, they have to. They're either going to lose, or they're going to perform. They're going to have to. They're going to do what they need to do to be successful. And you get in that situation a lot in life, you know. But it's good to know that there's not someone there. Like there's not an easy way out of certain situations. You have to fight through them. You have to, you know, live through those particular situations. Nobody else is going to do it for you.
How many times have you watched a game where your kids were playing, like maybe when they were younger, right? And they were just completely outmatched. And you thought to yourself, but they're not going to get an out. They're not going to get out of this inning. And you just wanted to go and take your kid and just, hey, let's just get them off the field, right? Or you were like hoping the coach would say, all right, that's good. Let's just go. Like, you know, in younger levels of ball, there's maybe like 6-run rule or things like that, you know, but in life you're not going to have somebody say, okay, it's okay. We'll do a do-over here. Right. We'll do a do-over.
So moments in sports that relate to life things that you can learn.
Yeah. Or things that that you have experienced in sports that will directly have an impact on you positively, in life.
Yeah. How about a basketball one here?
All right.
Since I'm coaching basketball, you think about this. You miss your first 3 shots, right?
Yeah.
Some basketball players have a tendency after missing their first 3 shots of not shooting anymore.
Right.
And just, I'm not making it. I'm going to stop shooting. Yeah. I coach my kids to continue to shoot because the chances are, if you're a 40% shooter and you've missed your first 3, you're probably going to make your next one.
There you go.
Right.
The probability is in your favor.
Right. Exactly. So, as we go through life, and this this goes for mistakes, but also for opportunities, you go out, you graduate high school, graduate college, you're out there looking for a job, a position, and you don't get one. And you don't get 2.
Man,
and you don't get 3. It doesn't happen a lot. It's happened to me.
Well, I mean, I spend a lot of time talking to these students here on this campus and my own children, right? It's happened recently with I mean, you got to keep trying. You have to keep sending your stuff
because
out.
What's the alternative?
You're not going to work. You're not going to make any money. You're not going to have. You're not going to have a husband or a wife. Good chance, or
probably
a wife.
Not a good one, right?
Right. You will. You will. Yeah, life will be difficult for you, but you've got to just keep. Yeah. Well, and the other, another tangent off of that is sometimes you might not get the one that you want, but the one that you have, the one that you do get, work hard at it.
Yes.
Because that's going to prepare you for the one that you really want.
Yes.
And so, look, I mean, we've all had seasons that we don't like, that we didn't want, right?
Sure.
You're 3/4 of the way into the season and another team has already clinched the league championship. And so the rest of your games, you're like, what are we playing for?
Yeah.
Right. What are we playing for? Well, you're constantly playing to get better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're playing for the next one, the tournament, because there's going to be an opportunity to compete in the tournament. So we can get hot, so let's practice. Let's work hard here. And even if there is no tournament, you're still playing. You're still getting a chance to play baseball.
Yeah.
Any ball, regardless of what it is.
That's where the joy comes in, right?
That's exactly right.
But also you can love and have happiness just playing the game, regardless of what the situation is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Piggybacking off of that, how about you're on a team and you don't really get along with all of the players on the team? They're
not your best friends.
Not your best friends, yeah. Or maybe you think they're weird. Right?
There's a lot of differences, personality differences, things like that.
Something like that. They're different. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Welcome to life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're talking about.
And you have to learn to be a good teammate in that environment, regardless of who your other teammates are. Like that's your job. One of your jobs is to be a good teammate. So you have to do that. You're
going to work in an environment someday where you're not going to mesh well with all of your
you might not even like
coworkers. Yeah, you might not even like
them. There might be issues that really separate you. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But you better. Otherwise, it's going to look bad on you. You're not going to be performing at a high level if you're not able to work with those people and to do your job, but, helping those people and collaborating with those people. So that's another great lesson that you can take from sports. There's all kinds of them.
Oh, there is.
This would be a nonstop. We could talk for 10 hours.
How about this? Life is unfair.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
And one of the, when do you learn that lesson in sports? Every time an umpire or an official makes a call that you don't agree with, or maybe not just you don't agree with, it was just bad. It wasn't a good call.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Happens.
What are you going to do? There is not a single one of us has a time machine. Like we've never invented a time machine yet where we could have it in the dugout or on the bench and say, let's go back in time about 5 minutes ago and let's redo this.
Boy, if we could figure that out,
we would be in good shape. But the problem is even though we don't have that capability, we live in the past so much, right? We continue to live, thinking about that thing that wasn't fair or that thing that happened that I didn't like. And you just can't, people make mistakes, including the officials that are governing your game.
Right.
And
well, I mean, in addition to that, you can, in baseball, you can hit a shot.
Yeah.
You can barrel a ball.
Yeah.
Everything could be perfect about your approach, about your swing, and it could be unsuccessful.
Right at them.
Yeah. They can get it out. Now we don't call that unsuccessful. We say that's a success. We take that all the time, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Even though it doesn't go down in the book as success,
sure,
it goes down in what we know about the game. That was a successful at bat.
Yeah. But that's the purity of the game is that you can do everything right.
Yeah.
And it still might not work out in your favor.
Right. Oh, it goes the other way too. If I'm on the mound and I make a great pitch and a guy just sticks his bat out there and it just barely goes out of the reach and over the head of the first baseman and lands for a base hit down that first baseline, you're like, come on.
Yep. That happened.
Right.
That happened to Wahama.
It happens a lot.
It happened to Wahama 2 years ago in the state championship.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other team got a couple,
flares,
flare, Texas, whatever you want to call it.
Duck farts.
Yeah. Right. And, they missed the ball, but still it worked out for them. You know what? That happens in life too.
Yes, it does.
Sometimes you get lucky, right? Those are the good days.
Right.
When
you're on the good end of it or the bad end of it. You're going to be on the end.
And usually it's a wash. You know what I mean?
Right.
So at the end of the day, you don't get too high, don't get too low when those good things and bad things happen to you. What else? What else can we say?
Well, I don't know if we've mentioned this or have talked about this yet or not, but I'll just say this. So you practice a whole lot more than you play usually, right? Or you should.
Yeah.
But here's the point on that. The majority of people out there are not going to see even half of the work that you put in. They're only going to see what you show them in public, right?
Yeah.
The game day.
Well,
but people right now, people don't know all the work that you're putting in right now in the weight room.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
If you're doing it, they don't know the nutrition, the sacrifices you're making with your nutrition. They don't know the extra time that you're putting in to throw and to receive and to hit and to do all these things. They don't see all that. They don't know all that. And yet, sometimes that's not going to be appreciated as much as what you would like for it to be. Okay. Yep. That's the way life is.
Yeah, that's life.
Right.
And a lesson, and just the understanding of knowing that you need to put that work in is a great lesson you can take from sports. That helped me in college. I remember my first semester of college, I was taking the class was called programming analysis. And basically,
that sounds like fun.
Oh, it was a lot of fun, but not for the first few months because I wasn't doing well in it. And I in high school, honestly, I could have worked a lot harder. Let me just say that.
Wow.
And I wish I would have.
I mean,
but
check.
So I think I had a 3.2 GPA in high school. Both of my kids just blew me out of the water on that, so I'm proud of them for it.
I was probably a little under that.
Just a little? Okay.
Yeah, I was over 3.
Oh, okay. We're right there. Right?
I'm the same way. I was I could have done better.
Yeah. So anyways, when I get to college, I'm struggling, but I expected not struggle. Like
Sure.
I didn't feel like I was dumb. I felt like I could, I could do the work, but I couldn't get it. And one of the things, just looking, I had to center myself and say, what do I need to do to figure this out? And that was one of the things, even going back to what my coach told me that, hey, this is going to prepare you. Okay, well, how is this going to prepare me? And really the only thing I could do that I could think of to do is just bear down and study and research and practice what I was trying to learn in that class. And I was able to do it. And once I did that, it changed my whole college experience because I was not doing all that well in college up to that point. But I thought, oh, this is what I need to do. I need to put the work in.
You figured out what is required of you to have the success that you want, right? The habits that were required of you in order to reach the goal that you had, which was to do well in college, to graduate, to get a job.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's there it is. I mean, yeah, even though people might not see, you know, no one's going to pat you on the back for all the work that you're doing in secret.
No.
Right? But you know what? You know what it's what it's doing. You're going to see the difference. You're going to see how you're a different type of player.
Sure.
You know, and the reality is, the lesson is you're creating habits that nobody else is seeing that are absolutely essential in order for you to accomplish the goals that you have.
Sure.
And so who cares?
And
who cares if nobody sees it?
Yeah, right. And the goals is normally what they see.
Right.
Right. You said a good word there.
In order for you to reach that goal, you've got to do this.
It's never about the goals.
Yeah.
It's about the habits.
Yeah.
Yeah. That gets you everywhere.
It does.
You know. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, podcast for you is busy. I'm keeping an eye on the clock here. I'm looking out the window too. Yeah, we're getting kicked out at noon.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah,
we got started a little late.
Yeah, we did. We had a little setup issues.
There's all kinds of things.
Yeah. Throw another one out there. Conclude. Let's conclude. If you got one.
I mean, I'm just coming up with. I mean, it's on the fly.
I know.
But,
yeah.
Distractions.
Yeah.
You know, the environment,
handling
that
distractions.
You play in,
right.
You know, the crowd. Right. You know, like you said, umpire. Things aren't going well. Any of those things can be a distraction to you in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Those things happen in life too, even more so, really.
Yes, they do.
There's always something that you're thinking about that you have to do that, you know, that didn't go right. And, you know, there in your life, there's going to be things going right and things going bad at the same time. And you're going to have to be able to, you know, embrace the good and the bad. But yeah, it's just distractions is something that sports teach you how to deal with.
For sure. I don't even know how many that was. Like this was another list episode, but we didn't keep the list.
Yeah, I like the list episodes.
I do too.
I like throwing them out there.
They're linear, right? Like you can find. It's that practice plan, following that practice plan.
That's right. That's why I'm not. Yeah, I'm a lot calmer when I'm a lot more calm.
You're calm as a cucumber.
Calm as a cucumber
in these episodes. So
during these list episodes, we better cut it short.
That's right. You know, I'll say this. As we cut it. This will remind us it's time to cut.
Here
short,
we go.
Right? Never forget your biggest fans. In the sport, I mean, you know who your biggest fans are in the sport. When you're playing, it's always your family, right?
Yep.
Regardless of what's happening in life, your family are still going to be your biggest fans.
Yeah, good.
And don't ever forget them. So
sure, and you play for them, live for them.
Yeah,
same thing.
Absolutely.
Good deal. Cool. We'll keep doing this. We'll get better at it.
That's right.
Hopefully the video don't run everybody off.